Hello, everybody. My name is Jax James, and I am Texas NORML's Executive Director, here with you guys for the first time in 2023. And new year, new time. So we'll still be here the first Wednesday of every month, but now we will be doing our stream at 7 p.m. Central. So we have updated our calendars and everything for that, but just wanted to make sure that all of you guys knew that as well. So it's January of an odd numbered year, and that means that legislative session will be happening soon. So what I really want to talk about today is pre-filed legislation, some expectations for the session, and some upcoming important dates. So let me go ahead and kick it off. As you guys know, pre-filing started back in November, and session will actually start next week on the 10th. So in the description of this live stream, you will see a link where you can participate in action alerts to support medical cannabis, decriminalization, and legalization. Additionally, coming up on Saturday, the 21st, there will be a marijuana advocacy workshop. Free registration. It's intended to get you up to date on the laws in Texas, policy goals, how does the legislative session work, because that's pretty complicated, and more. Additionally, we will be announcing soon our lobby day, which will be in mid-March. And then the session ends at the end of May for what is known as Sine Die. So I want to go ahead and kick it off and talk about the bills that have been pre-filed. Now, just because they've been pre-filed doesn't mean that these will be the only bills. In fact, it's quite likely that we will probably see quite a few more bills filed. Now, the filing deadline isn't until March, so we have a few more months to make sure that we get some really quality legislation filed. We already have some really great bills to look at today, but I definitely wanted to let you guys know that this ain't it. There's gonna be more. Additionally, if you have questions for me today, drop them in the comments and I will try to make sure that I get to all of them. And I'm also kind of interested what city you're watching from. So if you feel like telling me what city you're in too, I'm nosy and I would like to know. All right, team, let's go ahead and kick it off. Let's start with medical cannabis bills. So you guys probably recall Senator Jose Menendez, longtime medical cannabis advocate in the Senate. He's authored SB 121, and this is a let doctors decide type of legislation. So essentially, doctors would decide who could be a qualified patient and what their dosing regimen would be. It also strikes low THC and the potency caps from the medical cannabis definitions. Additionally, it would offer protections to both patients and caregivers, create a medical cannabis research advisory board, and it would outline, the requirements to get those licenses, give direction to new licenses and how many. And it would also address some additional testing and labeling requirements. Also out of the Senate, Senator Carol Alvarado has authored SB 127. Additionally, this is a let doctors decide on who would be qualified and what their dosing regimen would be. And it would also protect medical patients' parental rights. So those are the medical bills that have been filed so far. We definitely expect another medical bill from Representative Click, as well as probably a few other people. So definitely make sure that you are tuned in. In the description of this live stream where it says act now, that's actually the hub for the legislative session. At the top are going to be those 3 action alerts for you to participate in. And then below are going to be all the bills and their information and links to them, etc. So that is definitely a really important page to bookmark. So let me come to the comments real quick and see if you have any questions yet. All right, we got people from Austin, Rosenberg, Houston, San Antonio. Awesome, awesome. Massachusetts, New Hampshire border, an ally in the fight. I actually just got back from Massachusetts and New Hampshire and got to purchase some legal cannabis in Massachusetts. So welcome, allies. Fort Worth. All right, great. Now, we talked about the 2 medical cannabis bills and our expectations that there will be at least one, if not a few more. Let me go ahead and talk about penalty reduction bills, also known as different forms of decriminalization. So there is HB 127, which also has a companion bill in the Senate, SB 87, and this would reduce the penalties for concentrates, which is currently a blanket first-degree state jail felony, and it would lower the scale of the penalty depending on the amount. So it would be a significant reduction. For those of you that are not aware, in Texas, possession of flour can get you 180 days in jail. You lose your driver's license and up to a $2,000 fine. But concentrates are a first-degree state jail felony, even one tiny little drop of them. So important legislation right there. Additionally, you guys all know and love Representative Joe Moody out of El Paso. He has been putting in great bills every session, doing a lot of really important work. And this time he has put in HB 218, and it would lower the possession of 1 ounce or less of both cannabis flower and cannabis concentrate. It would also make sure that an officer could not make an arrest for less than 1 ounce or for any paraphernalia. And really importantly, it would allow for expungement, which is really critical for people who have been saddled with these criminal histories for their lifetime, essentially. Also, Representative Diego Bernal authored HB 224, which would address the criminal penalties for possession of paraphernalia. Representative Nicole Collier has HB 382, and essentially this offers a defense to prosecution if someone believes that they have a legal hemp product, but perhaps it maybe doesn't test as a legal hemp product or is fraudulent. And so therefore, as the consumer or the customer, they would have this defense to prosecution. Then we've got Representative Symphonia Thompson, lovingly known as Miss T, who has authored HB 388, and it lowers possession of 2 ounces or less from a Class B to a Class C misdemeanor, and it strikes certain enhancements. Then Representative Jean Wu has authored HB 520. It removes and reduces penalties related to multiple possession levels of cannabis flower. And of course, Nathan Johnson, I forgot to mention, was the co-author to the bill that I mentioned previously from Representative Terry Canales, which does the concentrate lowering of the scale of penalties there. So sorry I didn't mention that Nathan Johnson authored that. Additionally, Senator Sarah Eckhart has authored SB 208, and this makes it where a peace officer cannot arrest an offender for simple possession or delivery of marijuana under 2 ounces unless they have a warrant, just because it was in their view. An officer charging a person with possession or delivery of 2 ounces of marijuana or less must issue a citation rather than arrest. And it also reduces penalties with multiple delivery and possession levels of cannabis flower. So that's where we stand on the decrim or penalty reduction front. I will come back to the comments, and then we can talk about legalization, which I know everyone's like, can we legalize now? And the answer is, if we work really hard, we can do it like the little train, the little engine that could. Okay, so let's see if you guys have any questions for me over here. We've got people watching from Sherman, Texas. Happy New Year to you too, Amy. Colleen, where 4 ounces is decriminalized. Thank you for watching. Hidalgo and Cameron County. All right, we got people from all over the state, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you just are joining us, we are going over we already covered medical marijuana and penalty reduction bills that have been pre-filed, and we're about to hit the legalization bills. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So Senator Sarah Eckhart, who I mentioned previously, has authored SB 208, and it would allow adults to possess 2.5 ounces of flour or 15 grams of concentrates. People would be able to cultivate up to 12 plants at home. It would also give parental protections that possession or use of cannabis would not be grounds for denying or restricting access to a child or your own child, if your guardianship or whatever. Additionally, I want to discuss a joint resolution that the same Senator Eckhart has authored. So, what is a joint resolution? Besides a really nice turn of phrase or a pun for us, you might even say, a joint resolution is used as a legislative measure to propose amendments to the Texas Constitution. So in Texas, we cannot collect signatures to change laws at the state level. And the state level is where marijuana laws are governed. So in order to get something on the ballot, you would actually have to have something called a joint resolution. Essentially, an author would create it. It would require a supermajority to pass both chambers of the legislature to be adopted. It does not require any action by the governor. It would then go before the voters to be approved. And then it would come back to the legislature to build out any statutory or regulatory items that they need to put into effect. So a joint resolution is a really long ball game. But SJR 22 has been authored, and it would amend the Texas Constitution, and it would be submitted to voters on November 4th, 2024. And the ballot item would read, the constitutional amendment directing the legislature to authorize and regulate the possession, cultivation, and sale of cannabis. So that is the other legalization legislation that is afoot right now. Now, there are two miscellaneous bills that I did want to discuss really quickly. One is from Representative Metcalf, HB 513, and it is an enhancement to an offense of providing marijuana to a child, or if delivery of this controlled substance causes death or serious bodily injury. Additionally, now this is the bill, if you are interested in Delta 8 or hemp products, this is the bill that you will probably be tracking. Senator Charles Perry has authored SB 264. And it basically would remove synthetically derived THC. And for those of you that don't know about how Delta 8 is created, yes, Delta 8 exists naturally in the cannabis plant. However, it's at such a low dose that you're not just going to extract it from the cannabis plant and have as much Delta 8 as you see out on the market. The Delta 8 that's out on the market is from hemp flower, high CBD, low THC hemp flower that they put in an isomerization bath or an acid bath, and that converts the CBD to Delta 8 THC. And because that is the process, it is considered synthesized THC. So this would affect those products. It also cleans up some regulatory issues as well. So I definitely encourage those that are in the hemp field to look into that and make sure that they are following those bills. So that is everything that has been pre-filed to date. So let me just give a little highlight real quick for those of you that are just joining us. Pre-filing began back in November, and the legislative session starts on the 10th. So I encourage all of you to click the link in the description for the 88th Texas Ledge. And there are 3 action alerts there that you can participate in: medical cannabis, penalty reduction or decriminalization, and legalization. And then you'll also find a list of all of the bills that I just covered there with information about it. Additionally, I wanted to remind everyone that there is a free advocacy training workshop coming up. It is going to be on Saturday, January the 21st at 11 a.m. And we'll be going over the legislative processes, the different types of policies. We'll be able to take questions from people. We'll have a lot of really great resources there. So I encourage everyone to make sure that you check out that workshop. It will, of course, be available on demand after it airs, but I encourage everyone to go and register for that free event today. You will be hearing from us pretty soon as Lisa and I kind of get all of our ducks in a row, about our lobby day in March. So make sure you stay tuned to what's going on with the lobby day. This is the opportunity for constituents to be at the Capitol to come and talk with their legislatures. It'll be right after the filing deadline, which is March 10th. So we will know all the bills that have been filed and which ones we like, which ones we don't like as much. And so you guys can feel free to join us then. And then the 140th, aka the final day, aka Sine Die, will be May 29th of 2023, unless there's a special session. And let me tell you, a special session is called by the governor and he sets the agenda, and I'm not sure that cannabis would be on that. So far, not yet. So I'm going to come to the comments real quick and see if you guys have any questions. Well, I'm glad you find my joint resolution so punny. I like that. I don't see any questions here, but I love seeing where you guys are watching from all over the state. I don't even know if I have heard of Manville, Texas before, but welcome. So yeah, I'm just going to say, please bookmark that 88th Texas Ledge page. That will be updated every time a bill is going to be or has been filed with information about that. And then also make sure that you register for the workshop on January 21st. Stay tuned for our mid-March lobby day. And then it's going to be quick and furious, guys. The session will end in May. And I know that that seems like it's far away. It goes like that. So if you guys are not already subscribed to our newsletter, I encourage you to do so at texasnormal.org. We tend to only send out, an email or two a month during the off season. But during the legislative session, this is how we will stay in contact with you about newly filed bills, upcoming hearings, legislative advancements, etc. So this was your preparation. Next month for February, our legal counsel is in charge of the agenda, and it's shaping up to be a really good one. We should be able to announce all of that information in the next week or two. And of course, at that time, usually at the end, I give a little update on where we are at legislatively. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. So January 10th is the first day. Make sure you act now to let all of your legislators know you support these different types of cannabis legislation. The Advocacy Lobby Day will be virtually held on Saturday, the 21st at 11 a.m. That's January 21st. So you can participate from anywhere in the state. And then the Lobby Day will be in mid-March. We will have more details for you on that, but it will be at the Capitol building. And this will all culminate, hopefully, in a bunch of great legislation passing by the end of May. So thank you so many people that have dropped your comments. Let me know where you're watching from, liked and shared this video. It's definitely going to be an exciting session. So get ready, 2023. Here we go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a really awesome night, and I will see y'all in a month.